Hello, YouTube. Hello, Clear Vision Wednesday. Sorry for the delay. I had to, Zoom app is down and we are live streaming with you usually, and Google Chrome didn't allow me to do it. So I had to download a new browser, do all this, and the thumbnail is wrong. But today's session is all about reading glasses and the danger of reading glasses. So I want to talk a little bit about that. The session is called "Do Reading Glasses Harm Your Eyesight Over Time?" When you ask eye doctors, they always say, no, they don't do any of this. So here is these are some plus 125s I borrowed from my friend that I'm staying with. So those are the things that you put on your nose to read small print. So I want to quickly go over this a little bit, like what do we mean by reading glasses or cheaters? Like what, I hear people say cheaters, yeah, I need to pull up my cheaters to read the small print. So what do we mean by that? So that's what I want to go over. So what we will mainly be talking about today is so-called plus lenses. So those are glasses like these that you can get in a dollar store, in a drugstore, over the counter somewhere. They have a magnifying, a plus lens in them that is different than glasses that somebody might use that is nearsighted. So let's break it all down. So nearsighted people would use lenses that have a minus lens in them, and you cannot buy those in a drugstore. You can get them online, you can get them from your eye doctor, an optician, optometrist, but you cannot buy these in a drugstore. That's very important to know. So let's focus on that. So stop thinking about that. Think about these drugstore readers. They are basically so-called positive diopter lenses. And what they do, they convert the light rays from the light. So when we think of the light coming in as a parallel light beam, they basically bend the light toward your eye so that you have a better way of focusing. So let's backtrack a little bit. People that need reading glasses have presbyopia or Eyesight. We hear that the lens is getting stiffer, that we cannot focus up close, things are blurry up close. So these plus lenses basically convert light rays toward each other, so it's easier to read something up close clearly. So it basically helps you with farsightedness or presbyopia, which is a kind of form of farsightedness, and it provides that extra converging power, effectively shifting the focal point closer to the eye, allowing the eye to focus more readily on nearby objects. So when we look up close, we have to converge. Our eyes have to kind of cross extreme, like think of this. So the ciliary muscle tightens, it makes the lens thicker. So when we look in the distance, it's flat, so it's thicker, so that we can look up close. So when we have some kind of loss of that lens capacity to focus, it doesn't mean that we can't use it's not like you don't have a lens in your eye at all, but it might have lost some focal power. So the plus lenses basically add that extra focal power. So think of it that way, okay? So that's what they do. Now, let's quickly talk about the difference between a nearsighted person and a farsighted person when they talk about readers or reading glasses. So I work with many people with different vision conditions. Some of them are nearsighted, some of them are farsighted. Again, the farsighted folks, you can go to the drugstore, get the plus 1.5, whatever you need. I will talk about why I don't recommend this, but that's kind of the gist of it, right? A nearsighted person that might need a -5 to drive and see clearly in the distance might only need a -3 to look up close, because diopters, which is the measurement of the strength of the lens, is basically based on the specific distance. So if you're nearsighted and you're using your glasses or contacts all day long while you're inside at the computer, that's a huge eye strain. So you would want a lower diopter, and the nearsighted lenses are concave, and the farsighted, the plus lenses, the so-called readers, are convex lenses. So that without going into optometry, and I would need to show slides so you understand all this, just know that a nearsighted person will still need a different lens, ideally, to prevent eye strain and further vision loss for reading, then they will need to look far. But that's not what we usually talk about when we talk about readers. Again, we talk about these plus lenses. So if that doesn't make sense, let me know. I will happily explain this. So the question I also get, what about, the reading glasses from the eye doctor? So I go to my optometrist and I get this pair of reading glasses, and they cost $500. Well, you can get these in the dollar store for $2, right? So do they damage, if I get the cheap over-the-counter readers, do they damage my eyes? So here's the thing. I want to say that very clearly first. Make sure you go get an eye exam regularly, because an eye exam will find any problems with your eye health, the retina, the lens, the vitreous humor, the cornea, intraocular pressure, all these things. You want to make sure your eyes are healthy. Just because, don't wait till your vision is necessarily blurry. You want to make sure your eyes are healthy. What I don't recommend is leaving with a prescription for $500 glasses. That's what we're talking about today. But glaucoma is called the silent vision killer for a reason, because it's painless. People don't realize they have eye diseases until they're often advanced. And that's your best way of preventing vision loss, is getting your eyes checked. Things like metabolic imbalances, prediabetes, are often diagnosed in an eye exam when your fasting glucose is normal, your family doctor says everything is ready to go. Maybe they do the HbA1c test to check your average glucose, and they said, you're good to go. But the eye doctor can often find these things. And diabetes is the leading cause of blindness. So we definitely want to prevent that, okay? But let's get back to these glasses. So you might have a tiny astigmatism or some other things that don't really affect your vision that much, a quarter diopter or half a diopter. And the eye doctor will usually put all these corrections in the glasses. They might put some fancy coatings on it. Maybe you want a Prada frame or something. So then before you know it, you pay $500, $600, $700 for those reading glasses. I've literally seen prescriptions that had a quarter diopter of a little bit of an astigmatism that cost that person $500 when she could have just used +1s from the drugstore and would be totally fine. So those glasses, you can totally use them from the drugstore. There's no need to buy fancy lenses. Assuming you talk to your eye doctor, there's nothing else going on with your eyes. You don't need prisms or other complicated scenarios, okay? I'm just talking to a regular old age side. You feel you need to have some help looking up close. Now, when you Google, does wearing reading glasses impact my distance vision? All the websites will say, nope, not at all, no difference. Nobody. Here's what I noticed with my own vision and working with tens of thousands of clients by now. Everybody that starts with these little reading glasses, they're like, I have 20/20 vision, I have 20/10 vision, I have eagle eye vision, I can see things crazy far in the distance. They start wearing these lenses, and before you know it, this could take anywhere from a year to 2 years to up to 10 years, all of a sudden, they like, I can't read that street sign anymore. Or they go to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor says, your distance vision, you need bifocals or progressives for driving, because the perfect distance vision is going downhill. And I've seen that over and over and over again. Yet people that do not wear reading glasses, or they just use them very infrequently for dim light or very extreme scenarios, and that do vision improvement instead, the kind of thing I teach or other people teach, where you improve your vision naturally or you maintain your great vision naturally. Those people all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, they don't have that same vision loss. They don't all of a sudden at 60, 65, that cannot see the distance chart anymore perfectly clear. I've seen this so many times. I call these reading glasses the gateway drug to vision loss, because the more you use them, you start with a +1, +1.5, +2, off you go. All of a sudden, not only can you not read anything up close, I've tested it with so many of my clients, and all of a sudden, even the 20/40 line on the eye chart, which is the line in most states in the United States, in most countries, is the line that you are required to be able to read to get a driver's license without any correction in there. Nothing that says glasses are needed, or I don't know what the exact language is. So yes, I 100% believe that starting with these reading glasses will eventually kill your distance vision, because I've seen it so many times. Now, eye doctors always tell people, nope, that doesn't happen. But you know what? If you let your visual system always be helped, it's like wearing back braces all the time and then expecting your back muscles to be strong and never actually loading them and proper core engagement and all the things, right? And we do for our body. We know if we just sit in the chair all day long, we lose capacity to move, we lose flexibility, we lose strength, we lose bone density, all these things. We know that. It's no different with vision. However, if you Google it, because they don't want you to get scared about it. So what I would say, I have a bunch of free downloads. They're all linked. Probably not in this one because it's an impromptu live show, but I will make sure I link all my free downloads. You can also go to naturalclearvision.com, my website. You can go to my Instagram at Holistic Vision Coach, that you will find many free downloads where you can get started with vision improvement. So that's what I would highly recommend. Don't start with reading glasses. The earlier you do this stuff to prevent the vision loss, which is very common, just like we get wrinkles, we tend to get floaters, we might have more problems reading small print, but it doesn't have to be that way. And if you're already wearing reading glasses, it's never too late to make changes. But again, I've seen it over and over again. And when you get into bifocals and progressives, not only are they very expensive, but unless you're driving a car, you will all of a sudden make weird head movements to find the right strength of the glasses, because these glasses assume when you look down, you read, and when you look straight, you look in the distance. But I see people at computers with these progressive glasses, and they do this. And that is actually connected to astigmatism, postural things. And that's a whole nother topic. So don't get started with reading glasses. Do the natural vision method instead, unless you're like, I don't mind losing my vision, because I've seen it over and over again. And it depends on how quickly you go up in the strength of these glasses. If you have the plus ones for like the next 15 years and you only pull them out once in a while, again, not the best strategy, and you never really get used to them on a regular basis, you will probably be fine. But if you start wearing them for every time you look up close, and before you know it, +2, +2.5, +3, and then you hit the max, and the drugstore is usually +325, and then you need prescription glasses. And by that time, I have not seen a single person needing a +325 up close, or even a +275 that can still even see the 20/40 line on the eye chart. And by no means will they be able to see the 20/20 line, because you strain, you put these glasses on for your near vision, you let the glasses do the job of bending the light on your retina instead of learning to use your brain and your eyes' capacity to see clearly. That's what happens with any kind of physical brain function. If we don't use our brain, we lose ability to have memory and all these good things. So we have to, lose it. What is it? Use it or lose it, right? And that's absolutely the case for vision as well. So hopefully this was helpful. And sorry about the big delay. I'm just kind of multitasking here. But basically, I want everybody that wants to take more proactive steps, I have a very successful program called 21 Days to Better Eyesight Experience. And if you're watching this live, then please, please, please join us. We're running probably the last group where there's live coaching. I do 3 live coaching calls on that program. It starts April 28th. This is usually $797. We're offering it right now for $297 as a special. I put it in the live chat. So if you want to join us starting April 28th, ending May 19th, and that's the foundational program to get you, ideally to prevent these reading glasses. And if you're already in them, you will get step-by-step process and a simple protocol at the end to improve your vision naturally. So that's my hope. At a minimum, download one of my free guides. I have one for menopause. I have one for biohackers. I have all these different guides that I will make sure to put underneath this video so that you can get started for free. And if you really, want to be more proactive, I highly recommend that you actually take one of my guided courses, because I can talk about it. I've done for any area of my life where I want to make improvements. I hire health coaches. I hire business coaches. I just know that, I need help. I know that I cannot figure all this out myself. So that's it. I don't really see any. Deanne said that happened to me, making my eyesight worse. Exactly. So AB is asking, is it the same with distance? I'm not sure exactly what that question means. I could do a whole different separate episode about nearsightedness. My last words here would probably be, and I will do a separate episode on this, if you are nearsighted, meaning you need minus lenses, you cannot see the distance clearly, and you need glasses for distance, you should never wear these glasses or contacts when you're at the computer. And you will need, and this depends on each person and your age, but somewhere between 1.5 to 2 diopters difference for what you need for far away than for near. And so that's something that you definitely, diopters are always based on a specific distance. And so understand that whatever glasses you need for something like driving, for distance vision or computer or reading will never be the same strength. That's why they try to get you into those bifocals or progressives that have all these different diopters. But again, you're going to start making weird head movements to find that right diopter for that distance. And that creates tension in the neck. It limits the lymph and blood flow to the brain, which is we see in the brain. And there's a correlation to posture and astigmatism, which I'm happy to do a whole episode on that. So hopefully that was helpful. And if this sounds good to you and you're watching this live or in the next few days, I put the link in the chat. This is our Easter offer to join my 21 days program. It's the 21-day May experience. We're starting April 28th. It's a Monday, so that we're done before Memorial Day. And it's my program that comes with 3 live calls with me, gives you a step-by-step little pre-recorded video each weekday so that you can watch the videos on your own and then come to the calls with me to get support. So hopefully I can see you there. Thank you, Lucy, that I appreciate that. Very helpful. So sorry about the delay. Zoom is down, and so sometimes technology, I was feverishly trying to figure out how to go online. And thank you for being here, everybody. And follow me here on YouTube. Make sure you follow me and you subscribe and share this channel with anybody that could benefit from learning about natural improvement strategies. Have a beautiful day.